and made that jump from camming to shooting. And how did that come about?
Oh, that actually happened about 2 years. 9, 10, 11, 12. So 3 years.
Okay.
2.5-ish years after I started camming. I don't know if you've heard of the company Score.
Oh, but I have heard of them.
I mean, you'd be shocked on how many people are like, the baseball thing? I was like, no, not even close. No, we're very off topic here. We're not in the same book.
Yeah. When I was 16, I asked them for a job. I wanted to work for them when I discovered.
You were like, oh.
I discovered Voluptuous magazine when I was 16 years old. I was in England at the time. And I remember in the gift shop at the hotel we were at, I saw the Voluptuous and I was like, what is that? Because I'd never seen that. I'd never seen a magazine that was dedicated to women with huge boobs. I was like, this is heaven. This is amazing. And then I got it and then I sent them an email being like, hey, what would it take to get a job there? And they were like, well, how old are you? And I said, well, I'm 16. And they're like, well, you got to be 18. Sorry. I was like, I get
okay, 2 more years.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Unfortunately, I never followed it up, but no, I have heard of them. I'm sure. Obviously, a lot of the viewers have probably heard of them.
I'm sure. I'm sure they have.
So yeah, okay.
So about 2 years in, I had gotten someone coming into my live room while I was on live cam, and back then, it wasn't a thing where people actually come in and try to scam you and not be an actual like producer or like content producer,
Yeah.
So like she had come in and she starts talking to me and she was like, hey, do you think I can maybe, DM you really quick? I have like a business opportunity. And back then I wasn't skeptical of stuff like that because it, again, did not exist back then really.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, sure. So I DM'd her and man, talk about a life-changing DM right there because she goes, I just absolutely love your boobs. They're so huge. I can't get over it. And I was like thinking that, she's just some girl fan. Like, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, right.
And she was just like, God, they're gorgeous and they'd be perfect in our magazine. And I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Let me reread that. What?
Yeah.
Okay, I did read that correctly. So then I was like, what do you mean your magazine? And she was like, and our website. Do you like, shoot content and stuff? And I was like, kinda. Like, I mean, I'm like, does live cam count?
Yeah.
She's like, no. I mean, it's similar, but she's like, but like actual videos and stuff. And I was like, well, no. I mean, I barely am really learning the industry. So she goes, well, how about this? We'll fly you to Florida. We'll pay for your testing. We'll do all this stuff. And I was like, testing for what? And she was like, well, you have to be tested if you're going to come to our studio because we have other talents here, and she started explaining stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like reading still. And then finally, like 5 minutes into the conversation, it goes ding. And I was like, oh my God. I'm so sorry. I thought you were just like a new fan that was just trying to like be nice.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. I had no clue. I was like, I apologize. And she goes, actually, it's fine. Because I will admit, definite fan of those boobs. It pulled me in. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And so then she's like, let me get your email. Next thing you know, I think I want to say December of 2012 was my very first time that Score pulled me in for my first solo.
Okay.
Did some solo work for the neighbor.
Naughty Neighbors?
I think no, not Naughty.
Okay, because that's another one of
I can't think of what it's called right now, but that's where it was, and I looked all super young, and I had like curtain bangs and just.
I remember that, yeah, because that's where I saw you first was Score.
Yep. So that was like my very first professional shoot right there, and I was like, "This is so much fun."
Oh, yeah, okay.
And my director, photographer, videographer, he was this most just amazing person ever.
Okay.
He was gay, but that didn't bother me at all. Like I didn't care.
No.
I was like, ooh, my pictures are gonna be so great.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna be like, girl, you need to move your hair over there a little bit, And trust, he was so on that, like just, hey, your shirt's like lopsided. Like, you can fix it like real quick so that your boobs look even better. You know, so those little things made him just so amazing and made me feel so comfortable on my first shoot.
Nice.
And I was like, God, I hope every other single one of you is like this, because you're amazing. And every time I ever shot for Score after that, 99% of the time he was always my...
Okay. Would you request him, or they just put you...
No,
they just put him,
at first it was just like, oh, he's here again, he's here again, he's here again.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, cool. And then eventually I had found out he had requested to work with me because he liked working with me.
Oh, there you go.
He was like, she's so easy to work with. She just does it.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I doing? He's like, exactly.
So